Good morning, traders. So how do we trade the Aussie, the South African top 40 today? So yesterday's levels, you can see how these levels were tagged. The first level was tagged quite nicely, and then this is not quite where we need it, but that inside tail there is still open. We'll look at that on the lower time frame now, and there is another one in the middle here which has pretty much been tagged. So those levels there have been tagged. The thing that's still bugging me is the fact that we've got this pretty big daily gap that's still open. So if we look at this, that is worth 679 point gap. So that is the one thing that's bugging me on this instrument at the moment. But there are some things which are really starting to prickle my interest as well. Okay, so looking at the 4 hour, you can see we've had a move down, little move up, move down, little move up, move down. So it's 1, 2, this is the third attempt at getting higher, and it has failed. Okay, so 1, 2, and now we're looking for the third attempt. Okay, so if we look at the 4 hour, you can see this inside tail here was pretty much missed by a few points, whereas the other two levels were tagged. If you look at the oscillator is starting to indicate that we are looking to move up. Well, let's not say looking to move up, but rather looking tired. And then the other thing is this here, this falling wedge. Now, if I just drill down to the hour, and I know there are people that have been trading this this wedge, and in my experience, don't try and trade the wedge until you have confirmation. Okay, at this stage there's no confirmation. Our moving averages are pointing down still, and there's no reason to be long on this at this stage. Okay, so even if you look through the bars that performed yesterday, we had a range bar there, which basically would have meant if we'd got a close above that level on the hour, that would have been an opportunity to start looking for a long. It would have gone up, come down, get in long, and then you can trade that trade. But for now, we have finished off with a bit of diversions. The longer term diversions is not there, but the short term diversions is definitely there. And you can see on the 4 hour we're grouping here, and we've got a double bottom on the oscillator, which is pretty much diversions. Okay, so I am still looking for a long out of this market, but I would rather be patient and wait. So this is a fairly good entry, and your risk to reward is quite good, because an entry around this area with a stop down here, it's 1,300 point stop loss, but your target would be back to the top here, which is 3,000 points. Okay, but again, 1,300 points for me is still very rich. Okay, so what I'd be looking for is a better entry. And again, as I said yesterday, we're looking for an entry around these three levels here. Okay, now I have tidied them up a little bit on the 4 hour, but they are pretty much there. Okay, so the fact that we've closed below this level here, which is our last swing high, and sort of tagged the next level. No, sorry, we haven't tagged the next level. So the next level is this pin bar here. That's top of this tail. That's the next logical level. This one here, we can actually just delete. I think, and all I'm doing is I'm just tidying it up on the hour. So there's a pin bar. There's a tail. There's a tail. There's a tail, and they're all pin bars. 1, 2, 3 pin bars, but they are inside tails, and those are the levels we need to watch on the hour. You'll see there's another one down here, which then coincides with the bottom of this opening. Okay, and that kind of would be the ultimate last line of defense before we get gap close. So breakthrough 45,478 gives us gap close. Okay, so this wedge is still in play, but for all intents and purposes, we have not broken it. I know some people are looking at it in this way, and that is the first way I was looking at it as well. That was the wedge, and then we're trying to break through it. But I find when you're traveling along the wedge like this, rather just change it to that. Okay, so that is your actual wedge. Until you get some price action that is confirming change of direction. So you're looking for something like this, an engulfing pattern, or you're looking for an inside bar. There's a nice engulfing there. Here's an inside bar. Inside bar, it didn't work very well, but it just gave you a little bit. There's an inside bar, in other words, big green, big red, small green inside it, and that was on a double bottom off a level. There we go. Okay, so the fact that we are closed below this level leads me to believe that the next level is coming into play, and the next level wasn't quite hit, so I would almost willing to guarantee myself that it's going to come back to here, and then we have this level at the bottom, and then we have a gap close. So yeah, so I think 45,729 and 45,478 are the two levels that we need to watch today. And again, we are just looking for an opportunity to get into this trade for a decent swing trade. Okay, so I'm really not interested in 5 minutes. You can see I only have 5 minutes on my time chart. 12 minutes is the lowest I'll go. And you'll see here, nice and gentle, lots of tails all over the place, lots of barbed wire, and then we closed off with this exhaustion bar to hit this level again. Okay, and you can see 1, 2 broke through, come back, and we've tested this level. So that leads me to believe this next level is definitely on today. Okay, so let's just have a look at our all-time favorites. 10 cent. 10 cents kind of flat or slightly up, 0.11 up. Oil got hammered yesterday, which is the reason why the US, well, not the US markets, but the Dow wasn't hammered. It was just suppressed. And yeah, but the DAX did rally yesterday as well. So the S&P yesterday was pretty flat. Well, it closed 0.15 down, so ever so slightly. It was flat. So it leads me to believe that we do have some potential for a little bounce about to happen. So I expect a flat opening, and then maybe a bit of a meander down until Europe opens, and then to see what the DAX does. If the DAX and the FTSE, oh, by the way, the FTSE, Britain announced a Brexit deal last night, so you could see the pound climb, and that would affect the FTSE to move down, but it could also affect other European stocks to start climbing with the Brexit deal on the table. So just pay attention to that. Okay, so I think for me, really what I'm looking for is take it off the half hour if you have to, but you can see there's no moving average crossover here. And I know a lot of people that were long yesterday, and they're sitting crying and bleeding at the moment because they're down 500 odd points. But in all honesty, there was no reason to get long yesterday. Everything here on the half hour is indicating we're still moving down. Everything on the hour was also indicating we're moving down. Range bar, and a break of the range bar. Okay, so last thing to look at here. This range bar here was broken. So what I want to do is just put what the measured move on that range bar would be, and look at that. Tallies up with this bottom level. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to tag 45,729, and then we're going to look for price action to give us an indication of what's going to happen, and then obviously looking for an entry long. Okay, so that's that for today, guys, and I think the last thing I want to do is just close off with a look at the Bollinger. So I've just changed the Bollinger ever so slightly, and I think maybe what we should do is just make us a bit darker. Okay, right. Okay, so the green, dark green is our Bollinger, and then I've just got a simple 50, 100, and 200 moving average over here. Okay, and the reason why I want to do that is just looking at it from a daily perspective, because a lot of institutions will be playing this. We've had a crossover of all three of these moving averages, so this is all pointing down. So the trend is down, but bear in mind that price action often works a little bit differently to the moving averages. In other words, it's a bit quicker than what the moving averages are, because these moving averages are calculated over the last 100, 250 periods. But what I do find, though, is if you look at the lower time frames, it'll give you a pretty early entry into what's going on. And as you can see, these moving averages are all pointing down. Bollinger, we're outside the Bollinger here. Over here, we're also sort of just outside the Bollinger. Okay, but on the 4 hour, outside, but far outside, almost inside, and then inside, with the top Bollinger starting to turn over like this. So what I'm expecting is this here to play out as a bottom. It is looking like a bottoming pattern. Still not confirmed, but it's definitely starting to brew on the 4 hour, which means we do have a move to the upside. And that to me basically means I have a swing trade brewing here, which will allow me to target this level up here, which is pretty much 4,600 points. And with a swing trade like that, it's going to allow me to get in on a trade and keep buying into it until we hit our target. Okay, so that's kind of my take on this, and you can see there's quite a bit of interaction at this level as well. So that's what I'm waiting for. And if we look at this on the daily, you'll see we had outside Bollinger, inside Bollinger. So that in itself was a Bollinger W that was confirmed. We broke up above it, which gave us a confirmation. So the entry on this was up here with a stop down here. Okay, because of the size of it, it's kind of difficult to play. But with a nice pullback like this to the 76.4 Fibonacci, and in fact it's probably more on the lower side. So it's 76.4 from this swing low, but from this previous swing low, look at that, it's 61.8. Okay, now bear in mind, you're going to have a lot of institutions that are playing for this gap close. They're trying to push price down to the gap close, and this is going to be driven by Europe today, and US is also going to be driven by Europe today. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm expecting this was the first move, this was a pullback. Now I'm expecting the second move, and if you look carefully, second move ties up with the 200 moving average. Okay, so that is pretty much what I am looking for. Okay, so I may have to wait today, I may have to wait for the rest of the week for this to play out, but as soon as we get the confirmation, the trade goes in, stop as low as possible, and we leave it with anticipation of it getting to here. And the idea is something along these lines here. It rallies, it pulls back, another opportunity to buy in, another opportunity to buy in, until we get a change in direction. Change in direction means we get a lower low, break below there. Okay, so it gives me many opportunities to buy in through the months and to keep those trades running for as long as possible. So that's kind of what we're trying to look for at the moment. Okay, anyway guys, that's my take on this for today. I hope it helps, and I will catch up with you guys later. Enjoy the day. Cheers for now.